Welcome back. Now we're going to be looking at effective road safety measures all over the country. The mission of the Safe Road in Nigeria is to reduce road crash deaths and injuries by 50% by 2020. In fact, I believe we can do better than 50% by 2020.
Even before 2020?
Yes, we can do better than that. Lots of crashes and lots of deaths and injuries on our roads. And the intention is that we're going to work on that, and by limiting speeds on certain roads, we can achieve that. Now, to look at effective road safety with us this morning, it's my pleasure to welcome the former Commissioner for Transportation in Lagos State, Mr. Kayode Okwefa, who is now a transport consultant. Good morning, Mr. Okwefa. Good to have you with us again.
Thank you very much.
You are still in business. Okay.
I need to survive.
And it's also pertinent for us to say that we also invited the Assistant Corps Marshal and Zonal Commanding Officer for the Federal Road Safety Corps, Zone RS2 Lagos, Mr. Nseobong Akpabio, but he gave us a call just a few minutes ago that he's unable to join us this morning for some personal reasons. Now, Mr. Okwefa, do you think that this goal is realizable?
Okay, I believe you're referring to the 2010 goal. What the goal says is
2020.
No, it's a 2010 goal
that was
for 2020.
Okay.
That countries should reduce road fatalities by 50% of 2010
figures
by 2020. Now, that has further been revised.
Okay.
Just 2015, and it has now been extended to a 2030 goal. But I can't get that goal offered now. Now, what, in the case of Nigeria, the FRSA reported a reduction consistently since from 2010 in terms of road crashes, but the issues with it has to do with the data. You have police, FRSA, state data, but by and large, it's reducible. Because I know for that period, Lagos data actually reduced more than 50%.
How do we get to that point where how do we achieve this?
There is the UN Decade of Action, the 2010 Decade of Action, and the newly enacted Decade of Action for the 2020 goal, 2030 goal, clearly specify what you call the safer or safe system. Safer or safe system. Now, what that entails is in road designs, there are things that has to be done. There are things to be done in vehicle design, and that is why, because we don't have control over vehicle design, that's why FRSC is talking about speed limiting device in some of our commercial vehicles. Then there's what you call behavioral change. That is the one that has to do with campaign and getting the people who use the vehicle to understand some safety implication. Then there is the aspect of policy and legislation. Then there is the aspect of enforcement. So it is possible.
Okay, let's come to specifics. Road design, speed limiting devices.
No, road design, safer vehicles.
Safer vehicles.
That's vehicle design.
Okay.
Then the behavioral changes.
Which I think is the most important.
Well, I was going to come to that. Then legislation
and policy reforms.
And policy reforms. Let's begin from behavioral changes, because I'm sure the road design, some people are thinking road designs, and safer vehicles, the vehicle companies are handling that.
Yes.
Let's look at behavioral changes. How would you rate behavioral change or road behavior within the Nigerian terrain?
Okay, I'm going to give you an example of what has been practiced in Nigeria and elsewhere in the world. Now, if you want to have a good behavioral change, your road design must first be in place. You must think about it. Before you get the good result from behavioral change, your policy and legislation must also be properly structured. Now, sociologists say that it takes sometimes 25 years for human beings, a community, to change its attitude. Now, if you want to make that faster, you must make like the Montessori form of education. You must make some certain things pictorial. So when you are designing your road, design them to be safe designs, not the way we design here. You must do your road safety audit, you must do your impact studies, and the engineers designing must put safety at the back of them. Where you have a bend, they must put road sign. Where you design the road, you must put lane marking. You must put lane marking. So that is what is going to help the behavioral change. So when I get on the road and I'm driving, and I see the white mark, and I see the unbroken line, and I've been told that I cannot pass,
I was going to ask
I
you a
cannot
question.
overtake. But if you don't put the mark,
I was going to ask you
I
that
cannot
question.
overtake, I won't understand.
Mr. Paifa, how many people now driving in Nigeria would you say know that a white line that is not broken means don't overtake?
Thank you, Newt. I've just used that as an example. Let me let me build it properly. You will see that a lot may know, and if they don't know, then those of us who are in the business of giving them their driver license have a problem. Now, we used to say people don't stop at zebra crossing, but there was none for them some years ago. When it was put on the road in Lagos, they started obeying it. That is what I meant by the infrastructure, the road design. So it is a combination of all the five things. That's what that's the point I'm trying to make. Now, when you design a road, put the lane marks there, put the road signs there, put the gantry directional signs, so that I don't go and exit and then discover I'm wrong, then I want to reverse.
Back up.
So put all those things there. Now put up the public education and enlightenment, and put up your driver license, driver education, driver training thing in place. When all those things are in place, they will speak to themselves. It will reduce accidents. Believe me, the accident reduction in Lagos that we witnessed from 2000 and we started monitoring effectively 2008, 9 to 2014 has to do one. We noticed there were huge accidents from Okada. So we sat down. We didn't just say don't ride Okada. We studied it and we came up with a policy and registration to curtail it. So it is when you have put up your policy, your legislation, you can now effectively enforce. Because campaign will come when you're putting your policy, engagement will come when you complete the policy legislation, advocacy will come. Immediately after advocacy, if you don't enforce, you are entertaining. You're just joking. So enforcement will now come. Now, if you don't enforce, education will not sink in this area of road issues. That has been established, even in America. As I can't claim to you, I lived in America for some time. I do get speed tickets. I do get traffic light violations. I'm just saying it to use myself as an example for the period I was there. I never take it that serious until I now.
So you started paying?
No, the
tickets were coming.
So now, in the case of our own system, that's the job FRSC had been putting so much effort. You see that they do much of advocacy because they don't have the instrument to design road. The Federal Ministry of Work designs the road. But if the roads are not safe, if you put up advocacy, you can reduce it, but you can't eliminate it.
Yeah, Mr. Kwekwa, a staff of mine told me something which I thought was incredible, that he was in a Danfo, the minibuses in Lagos, and the vehicle was stopped, and the LASMA, who had stopped him, brought out his phone and said, "You again.
Yes.
Look at pictures. Is this not you? Is this not you? Is this not you? Is this not you? You are under arrest."
That's enforcement.
They had been watching him and taking pictures of him breaking the law, so they had evidence of it, and he could not say.
That's the area of the institutional
deny
capacity development. No, there are so many factors. It's unfortunate the way we operate it here. The problem much more is with various states have different capacities, and your driver license in any other state is valid in the other because it's a nation, and that's the same way in most part of the world. And that is why the FRA sets minimum standards. And where we need to work more now is to work with states to develop their capacity to have safer roads, safer drivers, safer vehicles, and put up an effective advocacy campaign, and also put up an effective enforcement. And people should not be scared or raise issues when people are being enforced. In the United States, let me say in Chicago, if you speed beyond the speed limit, and the policeman
Stops
can
you.
confirm you are speeding, he won't let you go. He will chase you. They will chase you until you are stopped. You know why? If you are speeding, you are going to kill somebody. So they will spend their energy to chase you and bring you to stop. And immediately they bring you to stop, you get your ticket. If it's above certain limit, you may be told you cannot move further. Call your relative to come and continue driving. Now, when they now punch, which is, you're referring to the auto inspector, there's a device now, because most states, I think about 21 states, it should be almost 30 now, have a database of vehicle registrations and driver license records. Now, if you have the auto inspector, you can't, it's like a phone, just like a normal Android or internet-based phone. I can probe the database and see your record. But what that last my guy did, possibly, is he has taken pictures of this particular vehicle along that corridor, performing those things. And that is using the road analytics.
Let me ask you this question before we take before we join, we take the phone call. Loma Meano says, I was almost knocked down at the zebra crossing, and I shouted, "This is a zebra crossing." And the driver shouted back, "Are you a zebra?"
Seriously speaking, I'm not too sure that is the facts.
Yeah.
Because this is a common thing.
Common joke.
There are still drivers who don't stop. And this is the lesson. When you are at a zebra crossing, it doesn't mean when you are there, you just cross. You must be sure that the driver
has stopped.
It's a two-way thing. Because there are those that will not. In fact, most accidents involving children happens at zebra crossing all over the world.
Okay.
There are drivers that will not stop.
Okay, we have one of the sector commanders of the road safety who's joining us via phone, Mr. Hyginus Omeje. Thank you for joining us.